Hello everyone. Today, that is on 8th November 2024, the Supreme Court of India delivered an important judgment about whether Aligarh Muslim University can hold minority status. Now, in a close 4:3 decision, the Supreme Court allows Aligarh University to make the case for being a minority institution, which means it opens the door for fresh discussions on the matter. Now, to really understand what's at stake, it's helpful to look back at the history of this issue and why it remains significant. Now, Aligarh University was founded in 1920 and was meant to serve as a center for educational and cultural advancement of the Muslim community in India. In the year 1967, the Supreme Court heard the Aziz Bhasha case, which questioned AMU's claim to minority status. The court decided that Aligarh University didn't qualify for minority status under Article 30 of the Indian Constitution. Why? Because it was technically established by an act of parliament rather than directly by the Muslim community. This ruling has been a point of debate for decades, with many arguing that Aligarh University's purpose and identity align with the intent of a minority institution. Now, Aligarh University is once again fighting to have this status officially recognized. This raises an important question. Why is Aligarh University so focused on retaining minority status? And what would it gain by doing so? Let us try to understand the benefits of minority institutions. Now, the benefits of minority status, especially under Article 30, offers Aligarh University certain freedoms that would strengthen its mission and preserve its unique character. For example, minority status would give Aligarh University more control over its administration, like decisions on curriculum, staffing, policies, and this could only help Aligarh University to uphold its educational and cultural goals without external interference. The other benefit is that with minority status, Aligarh University would have the option to reserve a percentage of seats for Muslim students, which means it allows it to continue prioritizing the education needs of its community while still remaining open to students from other backgrounds of other religions. The other benefit is that minority institutions are generally not required to follow some government mandated quotas like those for SC, the ST, the OBC students. Now, this lets them tailor admissions to focus on their community's priorities. Minority institutions can still receive government funds and grants while maintaining their unique identity, and this helps them improve facilities and educational offerings without compromising on their mission. See, for Aligarh University, these benefits could be crucial in preserving its character and ensuring that it continues to meet the needs of the Muslim community. Now, with all these factors in mind, let's turn to the Supreme Court's recent decision on the matter. Let's try to understand the Supreme Court's decision. Now see, a 7-judge constitution bench. Now this bench was led by Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud. Now this 7-judge bench took a new look at the 1967 Aziz Bhasha ruling. This time, the Supreme Court held that being established through a statute, act of parliament, does not automatically disqualify an institution from being considered a minority institution. What matters the most, according to the Supreme Court, is the intention and purpose behind the institution's creation. For Aligarh University, if it is found that it was genuinely set up by the Muslim community with the aim of serving their educational needs, it could qualify for minority status under Article 30. The Supreme Court's ruling essentially opened up a broader understanding of what it means to be a minority institution. It allows statutory establishments to claim minority status if they fulfill the cultural or educational needs of a minority group. Now, it's important to remember that not all justices agreed with the majority view. 3 judges expressed different or dissenting opinions, believing that the 1967 ruling was rightly decided. They felt that Aligarh University's status had already been settled and that revisiting it could lead to legal uncertainty. For example, Justice Suryakant, in particular, he argued that Aligarh University should continue to be seen as a public institution without the benefits of minority status. Now, according to these dissenting justices, changing the status could affect the balance between public and minority educational institutions across the country. Alright. Now, it is also important to understand the implication of this major landmark Supreme Court decision, right? Now, see, this Supreme Court's judgment has some big implications not just for Aligarh University but for minority educational institutions in general. This decision clarifies that institutions created by a statute, that is Act of Parliament, can still claim minority status if their purpose aligns with serving a minority community. This could empower other institutions with similar backgrounds to seek the same recognition. This Supreme Court judgment could lead to a broader interpretation of minority rights, making it easier for other institutions founded by minority communities like Sikhs, Christians to be protected under Article 30. The state and the central policies might need adjustments to accommodate this shift. See, this ruling will be an important reference point for further cases related to minority rights, potentially offering greater protections for institutions that are aligned with the community's cultural or educational goals. So, in essence, the Supreme Court's 2024 ruling is a major step towards a more inclusive understanding of minority rights in education. The final determination on Aligarh University's status, which will be made by a regular bench, could have lasting effects on how India interprets and protects the rights of minority educational institutions. Now, here we need to understand that the Supreme Court's ruling or judgment primarily addresses the legal principles and framework for determining Aligarh University's minority status. But it did not directly grant Aligarh University that minority status. Instead, the court overturned the 1967 Aziz Basha case or precedent that had barred AMU from claiming minority status, stating that the interpretation used back then was too narrow. Now, with the 1967 ruling no longer a barrier, the case now goes to a regular bench of the Supreme Court to apply this new interpretation specifically to Aligarh University's case. The regular bench will review evidence and arguments to decide whether Aligarh University truly qualifies as a minority institution based on the principles laid out in the latest judgment of the Supreme Court. Which means, in other words, the recent ruling of the Supreme Court sets the groundwork by saying that being established by a statute doesn't necessarily prevent an institution from having minority status. But the specific question of whether Aligarh University meets this updated standard will now be examined by a regular bench, which will make the final determination on Aligarh University's status. This process ensures that the broader legal principles are consistently applied and that Aligarh University's unique history and mission are carefully evaluated under this clarified interpretation by the Supreme Court. I hope you have understood this topic. Thank you so much for watching.